Hi, everyone. I wanted to welcome you to today's webinar. My name is Bethany Cheney, and I run marketing at TenMarks, and I'm happy to be here to host the webinar and to be the moderator for today. We have Dana Luther, our product manager, who manages our TenMarks Math and Math Teach products with us. Just so you guys know a little bit about Dana, she was a high school math teacher in Philadelphia. And after leaving teaching, went into ed tech, building math products specifically. So we're really excited to have Dana. She came to TenMarks just about a year ago now. I may be wrong on my timing, and has helped us really build out a lot of what we're doing for our back to school product. And so you will be able to see all of that with Dana's help now. Quick on our sort of points of the agenda. At the end of the session, we will be doing a Q&A portion. You can see on your control panel the questions and the chat features. So at any point in time during the session, if you'd like to, you can submit a question or a chat, and I will tee them up for when Dana comes back at the end of our 10-minute session. And now I will turn it over to Dana.
Hey everyone, happy to have you today on our webinar about engaging and motivating students with TenMarks. For those of you that have already gotten your students onto the program this year, you'll have seen that we redid the look and feel of the student side. So we have new monsters this year, which a lot of students, especially in the elementary and early middle school grades, get very excited about. But the focus that we really want to talk about today is on the ownership of learning and the ways in which we allow students to make choices in the program, as well as some of the motivating factors. So for those of you that are premium teachers, you'll see that your students have two different carousels. At the top of their page, they're going to have their classwork. And this is going to be where all of the assignments that you assign to your class or part of your class are going to be appearing. And we usually say that we want you to have one or two assignments a week here for your students to be able to work on that are reinforcing topics that you're teaching in your class. But the really important piece for student choice and ownership is your personal work section. So for our premium teachers out there, once you've done a class assignment or you've given your students an assessment, you'll want to go ahead and accept the recommendations that are generated by our system that are either going to be challenge work for those students that are doing really well, remedial work for students who aren't necessarily understanding the topics that you've assigned for the classwork, or practice work for those students that really are on target. And with the personal work, students are going to have 4 assignments available to them at all times, as long as they have those assignments in the queue. And they're really given that choice to be able to say, okay, I want to go into I want to do this assignment right now because I, like this topic more, or maybe they feel more comfortable with that topic. And as they finish those personal work assignments, more personal work assignments will be generated for them to have that choice around what they're going to work on next. The other part, this screenshot gives you a better look at the Your Personal Work section as well. The other thing that we have for students is the Your Progress section at the bottom of their screen. And this, we want students to have sort of the metacognition around how much work they've done in each of the domains that are within their grade level. So whatever class your student's in, they will see the domains, and then they have the progress bars at the bottom of each of these cards that show the total number of standards in that domain. So as they work through and they get through 25%, 50%, 75% of those standards, the progress bar at the bottom will fill up and more of those monsters will be revealed to them. The other thing that we did as a motivating factor for students this year is we created stories around the monsters. So if the students are hovering over these cards, they're going to be able to read a little bit about what the name of the monster is and what they're doing, kind of what their personality is. So we're trying to bring life to them a little more so that students can connect to them. A really important change that we made this year that is driving towards student ability to take ownership over their learning and to really focus on mistake making and then correcting from those mistakes is our move to immediate feedback. So on every question now, once a student has answered it, they have the opportunity to submit that answer and immediately see whether they got the question correct or incorrect. And this is going to hopefully help students see, okay, here was the answer that I gave. The explanation is going to be available to them right there. So I would encourage you as the teachers to have students read through these explanations so that the next time that they have a question that's similar to this, they're going to be able to get that answer correct the next time. The other things that we have available to students on every question are for them to be able to watch videos and also to get hints. The videos are going to be specific to each type of question, and it's a really important way for students to dig deeper into the topic if they don't understand. And we'd encourage you to have them watch the videos before kind of asking you for help, as well as the hints. They're going to be more of that Socratic method of answer or of giving them a little bit of information so that they can get to the answer on their own. The other element of our product that gives students some ownership of their learning is the jam sessions section. This is going to be a list of skills that are either grade level appropriate or potentially some remedial skills from prior grades that students can go into and, as we say, jam on. There's the music analogy there. But they can go into the jam sessions at any time and they will be able to pick whatever topic they want and spend some time working on really mastering some of those more algorithmic, rote, drill and kill type of skills. And then the last piece that we've introduced this year is the TenMarks. So you'll have noticed on all the other screens that we've had the points in the top right-hand side. And so what students are going to be doing this year is they are earning points for every assignment that they do, actually for every question that they're doing on the assignments, as well as jam session skills that they're working on. So they'll be able to see those points going up, and they are able to buy time on games that are within our product. So with our back to school release, we release 3 games, and we will be releasing more games throughout the year for students to be able to redeem their points to play those games. And the other piece in the TenMarks is that students are able to get certificates for the assignments on which they score 80% or better. So we encourage students to look at those certificates, which are tied back to those domain monsters that I mentioned before, and they can even have you print them out, or they can print them out so you can have them up in your class if you wanted to. So we hope that that gives you a good overview of how we're trying to engage and motivate students within TenMarks. Thank you. And I'm going to turn it back over to Bethany for the question and answer.
Hi, Dana. Thank you so much. So we've started to get some questions in from the audience, and please, again, feel free on your control panel to post a question, and we will go ahead and work to answer those. But let's start with the first one that came in. Love the immediate feedback. I think it's very important to model to students the process of reading explanations, watching videos, and getting hints. Are you able as a teacher to see if the students are using any of these helpful tools rather than just clicking through problems?
Yes, great question. You are able to. If you go into the assignment and you look at the assignment details page, you'll be able to see how many hints and videos every student has used on each of those assignments.
Okay, the next question that came in, can teachers access certificates in teacher accounts?
Yes, they are same page that I described before. Actually, it's on so if you go into the assignment details page and then you click on the student score, it's going to take you to a page that we call the assignment summary, which is going to show you every one of the students' answers as well, which is really good for in-depth analysis. And on that page, there's a place for you to be able to view and print the certificate for the student.
Next up is, can I assign jam sessions to my students?
That is coming. It'll be in the next couple of months. You will be able to add jam session skills and remove them. So while you won't be able to assign them directly to each student, you'll be able to manage those jam session list rather than just the pre-populated list that we have for you right now. So that'll be in the next, semester or so.
Thank you, Dana. I'm gonna actually answer this next one. If I've missed previous webinars, will I be able to view them even though they have passed? Yes, you will. At the end of this week, since we did 4 webinars this week, we will send up a wrap-up email to everyone with links to all 4 webinars. Plus, we have a 101 course, which has a lot of the how-tos. With 10 minutes, clearly Dana couldn't show every single screen and show you exactly how to do all of these things. But in that how-to course, the 101 session, it really talks about a lot of that. Next question, which I'm going to pass back over to Dana. On your progress, you mentioned standards in the domain. I think this is down by the monsters. Does this mean for each assignment they will see a monster fill up?
So it's not going to be per assignment. It's going to be, so assignments are linked to what we call tracks, and a track is a skill within a standard. So depending on the standard, there may be more than one track in that standard. And so once a student does one of those tracks in that standard, it really just depends on the amount of standards that are in the domain, because we want to divide it into 100%. So let's say that if there were 10 standards in a domain, then after completing an assignment in every about three, tracks, then they would see a part of the monster. So that's how it works.
Next question. I used TenMarks in my classroom last year, and students were able to review their work as they went. Does this immediate feedback change that somehow?
Great question. It does. The students do not have the opportunity now to review the work at the end, but they do have the opportunity to see whether they've gotten that type of question correct or incorrect in that learning moment. And so we're really hoping that that gives them the knowledge that they need to answer those questions correctly further on in the assignment, rather than before, when they would go through the entire assignment and then have to go to the review to see whether or not they got the questions correct or incorrect.
Okay, next up, are tracks just different sets of questions or levels?
That's a great question. Tracks have different sets. So within a track, you'll have different types of questions, as well as different answer types. And so it's not that they're levels, it's more like each track is a skill, and you could create multiple assignments from one track. And then you would be able to, at this point, if you're a premium user, you can also make choices on which types of questions to include in those assignments, but it doesn't have to do with levels. It has to do with just the skill, and then there are different DOK levels of questions within one track.
Got it. Thank you, Dana. And so far, we've got no more questions and want to be conscious of everyone's time. Again, either later today or early tomorrow, we will be sending out a link to this recording along with the 3 recordings from earlier this week. We really appreciate you taking these 10, actually 15 minutes out of your day to join us. And note that there is the 101 course, which will be included, and that is really gets into a lot of the how-tos, but is a bit longer. There are both recorded versions and live versions of that course. So if you want to have a Q&A, then you can do it there. One last question, actually, Dana, just came in. Does TenMarks give a dummy account for premium users, or do we need to pay for it?
Um, I think what you're asking is, would you be able to access premium features without paying? And the answer is uh, potentially at the district level, we might do some sort of demoing, but for an individual user, there's no way to access the premium features. Yeah.
And I will say, Jennifer, if you wanted to see more of the premium features, and sorry that I said your name out loud, but if you wanted to see more of the premium features, you can go in to any of our courses, and they will go in on those how-to courses. They will show you more of those premium features in action if you wanted to learn more about those that way. So at this point, we are going to wrap up today's webinar. Thank you again, and look forward to hopefully talking to you again soon. Thanks so much.